Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the official live stream of Veteran Lifestyle Magazine. I'm Annette Wittenberger, and we are live. I'm here with my co-host Joel Palacios, and where this is for Veteran Lifestyle Magazine. That's also the podcast and the digital platform. I kind of fumbled there, but you get what I'm talking about. Where we bring stories here, struggles and successes of veterans to life and our community as well. This show is an extension of our magazine's mission, which helps to bridge the gap between military and civilian life, provide real resources, and celebrate the resilience of those who have served. In each episode, we dive into raw, unfiltered conversations with veterans, military spouses, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders who are making an impact. We'll cover mental health, career transitions, entrepreneurship, advocacy, and the real life challenges of life after service, all with the goal of informing, inspiring, and empowering our community. So this is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. Whether you're a veteran, a military spouse, or someone who supports the community, you belong here. So let's have the conversations that matter. Welcome to Veteran Lifestyle Magazine podcast, where your story matters. So here we are. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Net. Long time no see.
I know. And here is Alexander Randazzo, who I've been waiting patiently to have on our show. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So listen, guys, his bio is extensive. It is everything that he has done. I will put that in the show notes because I don't even have the time to read through all of it because he is such an empowerment and such a great human. And so I'm just going to have you, Alexander, I don't know if you can, just give us tell us about yourself.
Sure. My name is Alexander Randazzo. I currently am a writer, screenplay writer, actor, and producer, co-founder of Military Movies, a production company that focuses on telling true, authentic, character-driven stories about this nation's heroes and their families. I have done everything from travel the country with my family in my early years to make films to, I don't know, those are really, to get a black belt, I guess, when I was younger. Those are really, hockey and my family, as well as storytelling and filmmaking, are really the two things that I'm been focused on and am focused on. So I'm just blessed to be here today.
I love it so much. I really appreciate it. I actually met you. Has it been 2 years now?
I was going to say it's been, was it 2 years ago? I think it's been just about 2 years.
In Nashville at the movie premiere of Lonesome Soldier. Yes.
Ma'am.
Yes. I real quick, I watched the film. I sat there. I embraced it. I took it all in. And then I walked out and I fell into tears. Couldn't stop crying. And it just hit so hard. And you played that role so well that it was just, it hit many people. It hit me in so many different ways. So we'll dive into that later because it was raw and it was so real. So I just appreciated that so much. One thing I wanted to talk about, start off with really quick is, so your journey into entertainment started at 11 when you adapted and then produced film Dragons in Our Midst. What drove you to take on such an ambitious project at such a young age? And then what lessons did you learn from that experience?
Absolutely. That's a great question. My father, who was a D1 hockey player. He's on the all-time leading scoring list at the United States Military Academy up at West Point. My mother, who I grew up watching act and perform, and both of them made sure we had an equal balance of both athletics and arts. And I remember early on, back, we were living at the time in Raleigh, North Carolina. I had gotten a book from my mother that I remember finishing it and going, this read like a movie script. And so I decided to, this was back before every kid had a phone and a computer and an iPad. So I had to secretly go onto my mom's computer, and I found buried deep in the archives of Google the personal phone number of the author of the Dragons in Our Midst series, Brian Davis. I found his home phone number and called him up at 11, 12 years old and asked him, "Hello, Mr. Davis. My name's Alex. I want to ask your permission to make a low-budget film of your movie." And he was like, "Who is this? How'd you get this number?" And within 24 hours, that website that had his number on it no longer had his phone number on it. But it launched a career that has led until now. Mr. Davis is one of my closest mentors and friends. I wrote a script and we produced the film, and it was an amazing experience, an amazing learning lesson. And it just felt right. I just felt like it was a story worth telling and that I was the right person to tell it, whether it be from the writing side of things, which at the time I really did not enjoy writing, whether it was from acting or directing. It just was part of who I am and who I was meant to be or created to be. So it's hard to narrow down one specific reason of how this journey started that's led us to where we are now. But it just was the journey intended, I guess.
That's really incredible for you to be so bold at that age and to just say, I'm gonna call, I'm gonna ask, and just like not even care. And I love that is happening more and more as I get older. These children are just they're so bold and they're just going after what they love. I wish I would have done that at 11. I think I was just too scared in the generation I was raised in, but good on you. And that's how everything else progressed for you. So it's just amazing. Joe, what do you think about that?
I was just curious because I caught that you said West Point. So you were in theater in West Point. Is this kind of where
my pops went to West Point, and
you went to West Point?
I did not. Yes, no,
no, not that you went, but the theater, the theater thing about West Point and then theater. I thought there was a tie. So your father that's kind of where your tie to the military comes in, and I was just curious, like, with your experience in all this entertainment, like, how can some of the veterans, because what I've noticed in how we shared before we started, I think there is a lot of value and there is a huge place, I think, for veterans in the industry. So like, how can veterans figure out how to tap into their own like storytelling, creativity, their ability to like really work on a project that's greater than themselves? Like, because I think there's value in all aspects, like whether it's talent, whether it's the financial side of it, like, you know, being a way to fund, but like, what are some recommendations that you might have for veterans to kind of find those places and do those kind of things?
Absolutely, Joe. There's one major aspect that I would encourage any veteran or even any active duty member of our military or their family members or friends to keep very much at the forefront of their minds. And that is being involved and being a part of projects or production companies that being a part of projects or being a part of production companies or investing into films or shows that do not take the veteran or the active duty or the military experience for granted or take advantage of. I could list probably 8 out of the last 10 Hollywood blockbuster films that have focused on our veterans or our military missions and experiences that make for good cinema. I have had personal conversations and experiences that 8 out of the 10 of those have either used, for example, one specific film used PTSD as a plot point to add drama to it instead of discuss and show and handle with care and handle with authenticity in order to be a part of the solution or be a part of honoring this community. Hollywood in the film business is 95, 98% here to make money off of these awesome shoot 'em up stories instead of really be a part of educating and honoring. And so that would be my initial off the top of the head, my first, response to your question is make sure the project or the team or the company that you're getting involved with has their hearts in the right place.
Yeah. I appreciate what you're saying about the idea of making PTSD a plot point. That it's. I think they missed the point. I think they miss they miss the whole mark when they do something like that. There's not one veteran that I know that has PTSD due to some event that they had to participate in to save their person to the right, to the left, or to execute the mission. It's understanding how to decompress from that is the hard part, right? Like, I think when we all get to come to, I think eventually all veterans will come to terms and they go, look, I did what I did because I knew that was the thing to do at the time, and it's the moral injury later that we need help decompressing. So I think when they make that a plot point, I agree with what you're saying. It kind of just misses the mark on what we need to work on, right? Like, we don't need to work on making our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines less lethal on the battlefield. We need to learn how to make them more capable of decompressing off the battlefield. So I appreciate you sharing that. That is a huge, huge point. So thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure. There are some really, really awesome stories of our servicemen and women, our American military heroes that need to be told, that should be told, and that have been told, that not only tell it right, but also sell a lot of tickets and entertain and are people's favorite movies. Yeah. With that said, the military community and the veteran community is such a small percentage that the honoring that community and making sure to get the little details right instead of taking advantage of them is something that has often been lost in my industry. And that is something that I, through growing up as the son of a West Point graduate who then went on to coach 8 years at the United States Naval Academy for their ice hockey team, and growing up at a young age with my pops's players, who some of them went on to be SEALs and some guys on subs and Marines, etc. They're not pawns in a film industry game. They're stories that they come home, and if our communities don't understand and are not there to support them, then why do our communities exist in the first place? I mean, I believe is it 1%, 3%? I don't have the statistics in front of me, but only a very small percentage serve. Yet the rest of us take advantage of that every day. And the film industry has a unique opportunity.
This is where the part where I want to talk about that we had mentioned before. So your film, Lonesome Soldier, the one that I saw 2 years ago already, it tackles PTSD and military experiences with such authenticity. How has your upbringing, particularly your father's military background, influenced your approach to storytelling, especially with military themed projects? I mean, you, like I said before, you played that role so well, and I just sat there and I was just like, the the entire theater was just silent, and with sniffles here and there. But like, can you talk about that?
For sure. Separating your question into two parts. One, the military upbringing, and then two, the lonesome soldier side of things. I'll start with, to lighten it up a little bit, I'll start with my military upbringing under my pops. It has been something that has weighed on me, sometimes heavier, sometimes lighter, due to some personal injuries, due to not being my my skill sets. I chose not to serve personally myself, and my focus on telling these types of stories and making these types of films is due partially to this is kind of my ability to serve those who serve. There's multiple stories of veterans and active duty guys through traveling around the country when Lonesome first came out that were very thankful that a film like Lonesome Soldier had been made and was being shown, because it helped others support them. And so fortunately, it just wasn't my path or a part of my journey, serving myself. This is something that I'm able to still honor both our nation's heroes and this country in a manner that still creates an impact, hopefully. When it comes to Lonesome Soldier itself, it was a very heavy process. It was a very young man that moved to Los Angeles, late 18, early 19, went through some of those early years, some unfortunate situations with financing, and moved out there thinking I was the next guy, and realized so did 11,999,999 other young actors. And so really started to focus on the depth of what did feeling alone in a city of 12 million feel like. And that really played into the performance in Lonesome Soldier and the writing of Lonesome Soldier, on top of working with the real life mother and the real life Jackson hand in hand for 4.5 years, getting to know them very well, and knowing the real life Jackson like a brother, and the real life Teresa, the real life mother, like a mother. It really was focused on, if this film saves just one life, then it's a success. And as of right now, I have 41 names of veterans on active duty, young men and women, who have reached out to me in the last 2 years that have said that this film played a role in helping them fight another day. And that just really took just accepting people as they are, meeting people where they are, and listening. The more you listen, the easier it is to understand.
I remember walking right up to you and shaking your hand and just thanking you for making that film. And it pushed me more into what we had been speaking about a few months ago, about wanting to do what I have always wanted to do 5 years ago, is make a film. So you pushed me to do more, to be more, and to have hope in knowing that I'm still here for a reason. And so I thank you again for doing that. And Joe, what do you?
No, I look forward to watching it, Alexander. I didn't get a chance to watch the movie yet, but I definitely look forward to watching it. But I still want to touch on a specific thing, which why I really, I mean, I think I told you again, like I said, I have an affinity for this industry. I think there's so many things that I think we miss the mark on when we talk about the industry. And when I say the industry, I mean the entertainment, arts, music, film, all of it. Like, I think we forget that it is just kind of a way to gather together and just enjoy a moment of respite and a moment of joy, a moment of pain, a moment of like just to just let go of like everything else in the world and enjoy a specific time with a bunch of people that we don't know. You know what I mean? Like I think that
Absolutely.
still so that it's so great. So I do love this. That being said, again, I want to kind of bring it back to how can veterans that are in business, right, or that have other passion projects like that, um, because I know that the industry that you're in is so like really hard. Uh, um, what kind of lessons learned in that industry that you think could translate for their veterans that are not in the industry but are still on that passion journey, right? Because in the end, and we even talked about it in previous shows, and we talk about it all the time. It's not necessarily the outcomes; it's the enjoying the journey. So, like, if you're in the industry, you're in it because yes, there is a lot of cool stuff, but you just love doing it. Like, I think Matt Damon said it when somebody asked him about his mom being a teacher, and they said that he has like this incentive because he can make a ton of money, and he's like, "Do you really think I do what I do because I make it? He goes, it's a benefit." But I mean, he was eventually playing it out. Did you really think teachers do this for the money? Like, does anybody really embrace their journey for money in the end? Like, especially like the art industry. In the end, yeah, I mean, people make a ton of money and they do it, but I think when you start, it's really for the passion of the art, the passion of being able to share a story. And I think that resonates with people. People want to align with stories. So that being
Absolutely.
said, what kind of similarities in things that you could share with veterans that are on their own journey? What can they do to kind of keep pursuing that?
Absolutely. I have four core values that my father instilled in me as a young man, and then I have a list of five things that I've developed myself since I moved to Hollywood almost 9 years ago now. The four core values that I hold on to in order to not lose myself are ISDG: integrity, serving, discipline, and generosity. I focus every day on living those four core values out. That's my set from my father. It's a funny story that when I'm on my 16th birthday, he told me he was taking me to a hockey game. We were up in Minnesota or North Dakota, a part of traveling around the country, which is another crazy story we can get into at another time. And he told me to get in the van, and we drove for a while, and I was in the back playing Xbox or watching a movie or something. And he pulled over on the side of the road and opened the door and asked me if I trusted him. And I said yes. And he said, "Get out of the car." And then he drove away. We were in the middle of nowhere. And he had set up uh, four men that I looked up to, or were mentors, etc., that each talked to me about one of those individual traits. But I try to focus on living my life on those four core values, whether it be with my wife, whether it be with my business, with my family. And I would encourage anyone, whether it be active duty, whether it be veterans, whether it be their families, whether it just be civilians watching this, to find what are the core values that mean or in your past meant something to you if you're going through a hard time, and go back and latch on and hold on to those no matter what. And then from there, whether it's the film industry or whether it's carpentry or whether it's working a minimum wage job, the five crucial areas that I've focused on and that I hone in on, and I wrote them down here, are number one, hard work and dedication. If you're not working as hard as you can every day and you're not dedicated to what you want to be or where you're going, then it's going to be a lot tougher than if you're working as hard as you can and are dedicated.
Yeah.
Number two, internal conviction. You have to really believe in the conviction of where you want to end up. And I can think or believe, kind of have one foot in, one foot out, that I'm going to make a movie or I'm going to play Jackson in Lonesome Soldier. But unless I am truly internally convicted in that belief, then odds are 9 times out of 10, something's going to distract me. Number 3 is faith. I have to have faith. Where personally for me, it's in God above and in His calling on my life, and having faith in the skill set that He blessed me with, and the skills and the journey that He's called me on with the purposes that He's given me. Number 4 is the feeling of self-worth, of worthiness. And being okay with the times where you feel unworthy, because those are just as motivating, just as impactful, just as powerful as the times where you feel worthy, but you're not there yet. And being okay and understanding and using both feeling worthy and feeling unworthy toward that end goal and that end journey. And then number 5 is your support system, whether it be your business team, if you own a small business, or your producing team, if you're a producer, your writer's room, whether it be Joe for Annette or Annette for Joe as the team of this podcast.
Yeah.
The people you surround yourself with are more often than not a major factor in if you're going to get where you're going or not. So hopefully that answered your question, Joe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Like, it's a recurring theme, and I say that, but it's like you're saying, just as you ended that, right? It's the people you bring around you. And what's funny is that the more you project your true self, like the more you kind of like embrace those ideals, and those ideals are universal. There's just people have different ways of saying them, but absolutely, like every one of those tenets just really kind of put the onus on this, on improving yourself continuously, sharing that. And I think it creates that vibrational energy that just attracts more and more people. Like
Absolutely.
it brings the right people. I think we said it earlier too. It puts us where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be, with the people we're supposed to be around. So, absolutely. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure.
I want to know, because you've written so many screenplays, so much, like 67 is what the number that I'm seeing on my notes here.
69 now and working on 70.
Exactly. So how do you keep motivated? It's not easy, but you do have a passion. But are there days where you're like, I don't even know how we're going to do this? How do you keep yourself moving forward and saying, nope, it's going to happen?
I think the days where I don't have a screenplay to write, or don't have meetings, or don't have to be on set, are harder than staying motivated when I'm in the middle of a screenplay. It's a little bit, and maybe I'm a little weird and wired differently, but my wiring is storytelling. It's constantly this story, that story. And my mother-in-law, who I think is watching right now, she often likes to ask me, how do I keep, because I'll talk to her about 3 different scripts I'm working on at the same time. If you take those stories away, and if you take away acting and storytelling, that's where I am currently working on growing and being okay with the silence and the stillness, because right now that's what's most uncomfortable for me. It's not the staying motivated when I have something. As long as I have a story or a project, I have an end goal, which is to finish the script or make the film or give the best performance. But if you take those away, that's where your question is applicable to me, Alex, as a human being, and I'm still figuring that out myself.
I love that you say that because that is my life. If I don't have, and I call it chaos, it's not chaos, it's just chaos in my brain. If I'm not writing a song, creating a post, having endless meetings with Joe and Ryan, my other teammate, if I'm not doing all the things and I'm just sitting back, then there's something wrong. Like I have to make sure people are sharing their stories. We're elevating voices. We're creating impact every single day. But I also have to remember, I have to remind myself, it's okay to step away for like an hour to at least sleep or eat. It's okay. Give myself grace to know that it doesn't all have to happen today. Even though I want it to all happen today, it doesn't have to. So I appreciate that you say that because people are always asking, how do you do it all? When do you do this? When do you do that? I need to keep going and pushing forward and be inspired by people like you and Joe and all the things. And I'm like, woo, that's my life. That's my brain. I have to keep going. So
it's that internal conviction and that drive that we talked about earlier. And it is so crucial up to a point where it becomes detrimental, and it's the human experience and the human journey of finding that balance.
It is
not to sound too Hollywoody or LA or but
it applies to everyday life, right? It is trying to figure out balance, but also keeping the passion and the drive to keep doing and being grateful that I have that opportunity to do so.
Yes.
All of it. And God, for me, I will always talk about it because he saved me a million times over in life. I always be grateful that I am able to do things. I don't have to, I'm able to. And so that's my reminder. What are your thoughts, Joe? Because I know we talk almost every single day. Always having a meeting.
What thoughts? That's the thing. It's just like everyone else. We have all the thoughts. I think what I love is you hit it again. Was about the dedication and perseverance, right? Like I was trying to think of who shared this, but it was like a short video on obstacles, right? And I know we're talking about it's the same thing. It's continuing to move, but the illusion was that there's obstacle in your way. He goes, but really, is it an obstacle? And then you walk through it. He goes, well, that was yes. This is movie magic. I was able to walk through the obstacle. But in reality, what we're thinking is that if I really want to get past an obstacle, it's not that the question is not, can I get past it? It's, do I have the determination? Do I have the will to do everything possible to figure out how to get around, through, over, under that obstacle and just not give up?
Well, it's one of my mentors has the analogy of we hike through the valley to get to the mountaintop. But it's not until we get to the mountaintop where we realize the mountaintop is covered in snow and it's cold and it's barren and it's snow and rock and there's no growth.
It's hard to breathe.
It's hard to breathe. But when we look behind us, all the lush green is down in the valley. And all the growth happens in the valley for us to get to the mountaintop. And the moment we get to a mountaintop, we scan the horizon and, oh, there's a bigger mountaintop, and you got to go back down through another valley where all the growth happens to climb up to get to another mountaintop. And that, again, is the human experience. That's the journey. That's why we're here and doing it as a community, doing it as a country, doing it as the military community, as servicemen and women, as a unit. That's really doing it as a production company to tell those stories, to help impact other communities. That's really the focus of what we're doing over here at Military Movies, and one of the main things that I'm focused on.
Now, Alexander, I did one more question, just to follow up, because I know you have your production company. As you work on future projects, what are some ways that the veteran community that could align with projects, whether through internship, consulting, or whatever? What are some of the ways that they can help? In all those things, whether it's realism, acting, production, like what are some of the things that can bridge their military experience and on-screen storytelling? Like how do they kind of help broaden?
Absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, even though we have, I believe we have 7 scripts that have been written anywhere from World War II to modern day, and then an additional 4. So we have 11 projects total and 3 unwritten. And we're adding a couple of more here hopefully soon, but stories is number one. We want to hear as many stories worth telling as possible. Number 2, we are in the process because we're a new company. We're my board of directors and the investors and the executives are in the process of shifting the company into a veteran-owned company, which is it'll be veteran-owned, veteran-operated. I will step down and have already kind of stepped down into just the head of creative, instead of the head of the production company, which means I don't have to worry about any of the business stuff. I just get to write the movies and act in the movies, so I'm very excited about that. But we are always looking for veterans that want to be either involved on the investment level, the corporate level, the set level, or the marketing on the back end level. And that's another way that the military community can help be involved. And then finally, we're also in the process and we're not sure if we're going to be partnering with some nonprofits, and actually, Joe, might be a conversation for the 3 of us to have, down the road. But we are looking to employ a certain amount moving forward of veterans that want to be involved in the film industry on our projects moving forward. We did hit the number of, I believe it was at the time 23% or 32%, and it was 3 or 4 years ago when we shot Lonesome Soldier back in New Mexico. But those numbers always fluctuate. So we did hit it on our first one, but it was hiring locals who had been veterans instead of us figuring out how to find veterans that want to be in the film industry. It was kind of the wrong way around. And so we want to create an outlet at the bottom of the pipeline instead of at the top of hiring veterans who are already in the industry. We want to give opportunities to those who want to be but have not yet had the opportunity. So we're in the process of figuring that out right now, actually. So that's a further conversation that I would love to have.
I think one of the ways that, man, I just know that because of my short experience in the industry, there were a few of guys that stuck with it. Few that stayed. One of my best friends stayed an actor for a long time. Lots of commercials. He did some DoD projects, but like a paid actor. I mean, like makes money. Like he's so. And then people in production. Some guys that are. Another really good friend of mine that we actually deployed together with is an assistant. He's been ADs on a couple of things, working on some projects now. All of those guys that are already in, I think, have guys that aren't in, and I think guys like me that want to see more guys in. There is definitely a pipeline, so
Absolutely.
We have to make sure let's stay connected, because this is actually something, and Annette will attest, and even other people that are talking that this is something that I think is valuable for it. It is a valuable path that veterans can take. And even active duty guys, I think that's how I got into it. I was lucky enough to do like a couple of seasons on NCIS, a couple other TV shows. I did one movie, Stop Loss, with Ryan Phillippe with one of the military production companies. It was really cool time, and the veterans that actually active duty guys and even veterans that participated, I think they got value out of it. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys watched the show today. I'd love to hear your comment about what your experience was like in the industry. So, and I stay connected, Alexander, because I think there is a future way to kind of move forward. And I think I know as a veteran that watches movies a lot too, I'm constantly like, there's no way that would go. That dude got a beard. He's not special forces. Why isn't he shaved? Where is his haircut? Like, it's like you say, there's the little things that we can do to make people go, I get it. Anyway, thank you for coming again. I really appreciate your time, Alexander, and I look forward to
Absolutely.
some more stuff. So
It was my pleasure. I had a lot of fun, and I hope our listeners. I hope all of the veterans find in my work and my partners and my company's work that they never find themselves less than first in the focuses of the authenticity and the focuses of the art and honoring and supporting.
Thank you so much. I'm so sad to close this out, but I know that we will definitely have a future conversation on everything, just to try to see how to make a difference in this industry and be a part of it. So I know I would love to do that. But we have to wrap this up. Here at Veteran Lifestyle Magazine, we are dedicated to sharing real stories, challenges, and triumphs that come with life during and after military service, whether it's transitioning to civilian life, finding purpose beyond the uniform, or navigating personal struggles like mental health, relationships, and career shifts. We are here to have those conversations. So as you continue to walk your own unique path, know that Veteran Lifestyle Magazine will always be a space where veterans, military families, and supporters can find resources, inspiration, and a sense of community. We are committed to bringing you the stories, voices, and thoughts that matter most. You are not alone in this journey. Let's keep moving forward together. There are 3 things that you could do to stay in the know. Make sure to follow Veteran Lifestyle Magazine on our website and on our Instagram page. And we will also be posting all the links to Alexander Randazzo's page, how to find him on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all the places. So like and subscribe and follow us to make sure that you are following our conversations, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.